Hey guys, and welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Brittany, and I'm one of the sisters behind Two Sisters Flower Farm. Now, if you don't know who we are, if you haven't heard of us before, we are a small flower farm located right here in West Michigan. We grow and sell specialty cut flowers in our local area, which is actually what you see behind me at this moment. I'm filming this video in our seed starting chamber, which sounds really fancy, but I promise it's not. It's just my kitchen for the moment, and all these seed babies next to me, they're getting ready to be planted for this season's flower garden. Now, I don't know what the weather is like where you live, but here in Michigan, the weather is starting to feel more spring-like. And honestly, to me, nothing screams spring more than being able to enjoy a fresh arrangement of cut flowers in your own home. So that's why today I wanted to break out my camera and I wanted to break down the very basics of flower arranging. Now trust me, I know flower arranging as a skill, it can feel intimidating, and I think a lot of us really enjoy flowers. We enjoy how they make us feel in the moment. We enjoy the memories that flowers hold for us. But I think that the general consensus is that most of us are terrified of actually getting our hands on some flowers and creating something with them. I think for so many of us, we're just afraid of doing it wrong, and I don't want that for you. I want flowers to feel approachable because, in my opinion, flowers are such a simple and easy way to add just a bit more joy into your everyday. Seriously, designing or arranging with in-season blooms is such a great way to really capture the magic that exists in this moment of time in this season. And especially when we're designing something for ourselves, we get such a unique opportunity to really personalize our project into something that we love. So I want you to keep in mind that as long as you're pleased with what you've created and you enjoy the process that it took to get there, then that's a win. You literally cannot mess this thing up. So, okay, before we jump into the actual flower arranging process, I need to share some tools and supplies that you're going to need for this project. Now, I recommend having a pair of garden or floral snips to cut your stems. I really recommend having something more than just scissors because you're going to have a much cleaner cut if you do. You can truly find garden snips anywhere, and they're really affordable. Most grocery stores actually will carry them in their garden section. I do buy mine off of Amazon, and I will link this exact pair in the description box below. So if you're interested in these, look there. Now you're also going to need some sort of vase to hold your arrangement. I'm going to give you a little pro tip here because I know how tempting it can be to just reach for the biggest vase you can find. I mean, we tend to think that a bigger vase means more room for flowers, which means more of an impact. But the truth is, the trick is to go smaller. And I mean much smaller than you think, because then you can make a bigger impact with fewer stems. So I want to encourage you, when you're selecting a vase for your flowers, keep in mind things like the height of the vessel and the size of its opening. I recommend for this project, about a 4-inch wide opening, and I probably wouldn't go much bigger than 6 inches. And lastly, you're going to need some fresh flowers to fill out your vase. Now, I bought all these flowers from a local flower shop, and I will include the full recipe that I'm using in the description box below so you can recreate this exact piece for yourself if you'd like. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, I want flowers to feel approachable, so I intentionally went flower shopping with the goal of spending $20 or less. And just so we're clear, I did pay retail for all these flowers. These were not stems that I picked up from the wholesaler. Now, in full transparency, I was successful in selecting ingredients that totaled just $20 until I walked by the spray roses. I couldn't resist picking up a small bunch. These were $3.99, which put my grand total at $23 for this project. Still a great price in my mind. But if you wanted to stay below that $20 mark, then you could absolutely just, forego the spray roses for this arrangement. Now, the trick to getting your flower budget to really stretch farther is to find a few ingredients that are lower budget, that you can add bulk to your arrangement without breaking the bank. Now, during this shopping trip for me, that item happened to be these Baker ferns, which I picked up for just 50 cents a stem. compared to everything else, which ranged from $1.30 to $1.50 a stem. As you can see, I have quite a few different ingredients to work with today. And each ingredient, well, it will serve a slightly different purpose. And that's why I think it's so much easier when you're creating something like this to think of ingredients based on the categories which they fit into or the purpose that they serve. Because there's an endless number of floral ingredients out there and available for you to buy, but there's really only 4 main categories that all this fits into. And I promise with practice, as you start recognizing what each of these categories are and where these ingredients fit within those categories, flower arranging will become so much easier for you. So let's start with foliage, and that's what's going to give structure to your piece. Now, I know how easy it is to gloss over foliage because in comparison to flowers, it can seem rather boring. I mean, whenever you see a finished flower arrangement, our eyes tend to go right to whatever flowers are highlighted in the piece, so it can be really easy to forget about foliage. But foliage is such an important design element because it adds dimension, it adds texture, and it truly is what is going to help give shape to your arrangement. Now, the next category is filler, which I like to refer to as kind of like the bridge between your foliage and your more prominent focal flowers. Filler can really be any number of flowers that come in a variety of shapes and sizes. And its job, as its name implies, is to really help fill in the extra space within your arrangement so that it feels like really lush and full. Then you have focal flowers, which is what everyone is most familiar with. These are the true showstoppers. They are the blooms that are most featured within the arrangement. They are typically larger and a bit showier than everything else that you're going to be working with. So think of things like tulips, daffodils, roses, lilies, even sunflowers can be focal flowers. And then last but not least is my favorite category, and I call this the airy accents. These are more of like those whimsical stems. They're delicate pieces that add a bit of movement to your creation. I always like to position these guys just a little bit higher than everything else in the arrangement, so they can sort of just dance above the other ingredients. Now, in my opinion, these accents add just a little bit of something into your work, and it really helps bring the whole arrangement to life. It just elevates the piece in a way that makes it magical. Okay, so let's get down to the fun part, which is actually designing with the flowers. The first thing I want you to do is to make sure that you have clean water in your vase. Having clean water is the simplest and it's the easiest way that you're going to extend the vase life of all your ingredients. And then we're just going to start adding flowers, one stem at a time. I typically will work from the outside in, starting with my foliage. I'm going to cut the stems really to the height that I want. I'm going to make sure to remove any foliage that will fall below the waterline. Anything that touches your waterline and gets it dirty is going to diminish the vase life of your arrangement. So keep that waterline clean. Don't be afraid to play with height. Really think about adding different heights because that creates interest. Shape going. I want to add some bigger flowers. Again, don't be afraid to play with height. Not everything has to be, right in your face. Really turn your arrangement, see it from all sides. I'm not just designing from the front. You totally could. If your arrangement was going to go in your kitchen and face the wall, you totally could designed from just one side. Not all your stems have to be, perfectly straight. Having some of those that are a little bit wonky or curvy, I think really helps make your arrangement that much more expressive. Ooh, I like that shape right there. And two, when you get a bunch of flowers on one single stem, don't be afraid to take off what you don't need. This little guy, I'm gonna take him off. Don't need him. Actually, I'm gonna take quite a bit off this guy. Don't be afraid to really have some flowers go low. Not everything has to be like right in your face. Honestly, the biggest advice that I could give you is to don't overthink it. Flower arranging, it should be fun. Flowers are beautiful no matter really what they look like. I've never seen anyone say, my word, that is an ugly arrangement. Like, no one has that reaction. So you, again, can't mess this thing up. And once you understand that, and just know that it comes, having an eye for, flowers, it just comes with practice. You can feel much more confident in what you're doing. I mean, that looks great, and I haven't even touched these spray roses, which really shows that you don't even need them. I mean, come on, these are just... So we're going to clean these up. You always know you're getting close to the end of an arrangement when it gets harder to fit pieces in there. Again, I'm just going to separate this guy into a couple different stems because I just want to spread these roses out. Yes, beautiful. I mean, you could really, with this many flowers, you could even do a couple different arrangements. I mean, you could really make this into 2 different arrangements, which is great. Then you have 2 $10 arrangements, one for you, and you can gift it to someone else. I mean, you gotta know when to stop when it comes to flower arranging. I think that's one of the hardest things. I really love how this is turning out. I do still have these, which I might just add into a little bud vase because I don't want to smush it too much. And I still have these couple of stems of their Veronica, and they're just that little bit of whimsy. I'm going to put them really at the top of my arrangement. Again, it just helps give some contrast of shape. So you don't have, all these circular flowers. You have, oh, that just looks, look how cool that looks. And it just, the shape of it, just adds something to this arrangement, which I love. Let's see. Sneak this guy over to this side. And there you have it, a simple arrangement that you can keep in your house or you can gift it to a friend. It looks elegant, but at the same time it's very reasonably priced, so that you can enjoy flowers every day, not just for those special occasions. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you were able to take away some flower arranging lessons that will hopefully make feel less intimidating from here on out. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you can follow along with more of our flower-filled videos. So that is all for me today. I can't wait to see you in the next video.